Oh, what's it gonna do? Oh, it says my name. Cool. That's very professional. As I've gotten further along into my old age, something that has started to get to me is just how noisy everything is, how noisy the world is, how purposefully noisy everyone seems to try to make everything all the time. And the more that I think about it, the more that I keep coming back to, I really desire quiet and no sound. Like, I was in Starbucks the other day and they've got, the music blaring. The speaker was broken too, so it was like distorted as it was coming out. And the thing is, it's like if it was more neutral music that was just more chill and whatever, which a lot of times it is at Starbucks, it'd be fine. But a lot of times they have like this really emotional, bombastic music. And for me, it's like, it's difficult to ignore and shut out that kind of stuff because it's like demanding your attention. And it's difficult for me to just ignore the pain coming through the airwaves. Why can't we just have a quiet coffee house? I was trying to say coffee shop and coffee house at the same time. Why can't it just be quiet? Now, I mean, I get it on the one hand, because if you ever have gone into a place that was like totally dead silent and no one was there and there was no music playing, it's very awkward and you want to get out as fast as you can. But for the most part, if a place is full, maybe they could take the music out. I don't know. I actually wonder if in some places, Starbucks in particular, that they play the music kind of loud so that you don't want to stay there. Like they're just trying to get you out. There's one Starbucks near me in particular. Is this channel like the Starbucks channel now? I just realized I'm talking about it like ad nauseum. It's everywhere. It's like you go to the grocery store, they've got the pop music blaring. I went to this really good restaurant the other day. It was a Korean barbecue restaurant. And if you haven't been to a Korean barbecue, you should go, unless you're vegetarian. But what they do is there's a big skillet in the middle of the table and they throw a bunch of meat on it. And this restaurant was so good. The food was so good. There was a lot of people there and it was loud just from the people. And then on top of that, they decided, let's blare K-pop, which is Korean pop music, over top of this so that it's like difficult to talk to other people at the table. Hey, this is a good idea. Like, what are they trying to say? We just want you to eat, not talk to anyone, and just really like get the full cultural experience of being in Korea, where there's K-pop blaring in the streets all the time, nonstop. Why can't we just have quietness? Or why can't we just let a crowd be the noise? Why do we have to have a soundtrack to everything? I mean, I'm not against music. I'm not against playing some background noise, but it just feels to me too much like we're trying to keep ourselves distracted so that we never have to be confronted with like total reality, that we're always keeping ourselves one step removed from it by playing some music so that we're not fully focused on what's going on around us. We can never have a moment to just be in our own head. We have to be pulled out of it constantly. And even just walking down the street, look around. Most people have headphones in. They're listening to something, or at least pretending they're listening to something. To me, I don't like doing that because I want to be aware of life around me. Like I don't need to be listening to something all the time. I'm not against listening to things. It's just one of those things where I feel like we've reached a point where it's gone too far. I used to be like that, where I always wanted to listen to stuff and always keep myself kind of distracted because I couldn't stand to be with myself and my own thoughts. But now I've realized that there's actually much more of a cycle to it. Like sometimes, yeah, I need to be feeding myself, just giving myself some noise, but then other times I need nothing. I need to just have time, not even to think, but just space. Nothing else coming in. No other voices trying to get in there. No more outside influences, just me and reality. Just the present moment. I might just be pulling this out of my ear, but I feel like intuitive types, perhaps, are the ones who need that silence the most. I mean, everyone, I think, needs silence. I mean, you hear people advocating all the time to take time to meditate, and a lot of people don't realize that meditation can really just mean sitting in silence for a few minutes. It doesn't need to be some kind of, arcane, obscure practice. Literally, just if you sit in silence for a few minutes, then you get more centered. you know, and the silence including not like thinking about stuff and being in your head, just existing for a few minutes. I mean, that kind of tells you the state that most people are in, that we have to be told to be still and in silence for a few minutes a day, because it means most people aren't doing it. What do? You wake up, you immediately turn on some music, or you turn on the news. It's like just this constant barrage of noise all the time. Part of it, I suppose, is just not wanting to feel lonely. Have you ever felt that thing where you're by yourself and you have the TV or the radio on, and then you turn it off and suddenly it's like this feeling of intense loneliness all of a sudden? I wonder, would that loneliness be so jarring if you weren't constantly feeding yourself with the noise of the outside world all the time? And this is not a judgment. If you like to have the TV on all day, fine. I'm just saying, I have reached the point where I want a lot of silence and kind of get irritated if things are too noisy for too long. In that way, I'm kind of like the Grinch, you know, in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, when he says all the noise, 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 noise. He was right. I think the Grinch was right to steal their Christmas, and clearly they didn't care. They got up and sang Dahu Doris around the tree anyway. I think basically what it comes down to is, if you really want to know yourself and you really want to like start to sort out the things in your life to grow, I guess, you need to have silence. Because if it's not silent, if you've got the TV on, if you've got the radio on, if you're listening to music, if you're listening to podcasts, you've got all these other people cramming their thoughts into your head, not leaving space for yours. Now, that's not to say never let anyone else influence you, but there needs to be a cycle. Okay, you've listened to some stuff. Now just process it. It seems like so many people are just in the consuming part of that cycle, where all they do is consume other people's ideas and other people's energy and other people's emotion all the time. They don't even think about it. That's what they're doing all the time. TV, radio, music, the news. I don't know. I have a distrust of constantly ingesting without taking the time to reflect on what you think, what you feel, what your ideas are. I know, especially for me, if I stay too long in a consuming part of that cycle, I will just lose all sense of what I want, what I think, and will just like be what everyone else around me is. I will just become what I am consuming. You know, the old cliche, you are what you eat. It's kind of the same when it comes to consuming anything else, media, music, the arts. That's what your mind becomes. So I think the point of this video is that if I ever open up a restaurant or a coffee shop or something like that, there won't be any music playing. It'll just be silence. All right, so this was part of my series called Get Off My Lawn, being an old man in a young man's body. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more and you haven't subscribed yet, hit the button. What are you waiting for, buddy? And until next time, embrace the silence, my child. That got really weird. I guess this video maybe was a little ironic, because here I am shoving my thoughts into your brain, so...